Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Working Trader, where we look at the EUR/USD and GBPUSD and come up with trade ideas for the day, if there are any. So let's jump right into Forex Factory, having a look at the news. So today's a Monday. We usually do not expect any high impact news on the USD or on the GBPUSD. So high impact news will start tomorrow on the GBP and then on the USD in the afternoon. Okay, so let's look right at the charts. Let's see what happened on Friday and what we can expect for today. So the narrative has not changed much. Okay, we've been in this pullback phase, okay, which eventually led to an internal and a swing break of structure. And after a break of structure, we expect a pullback of some sort. We had a minor pullback, okay, and then we've mitigated this area of supply, which is the decisional for the swing break on the daily. And then once we mitigated that, price has had a reaction, and right now price looks to be continuing bearish. So on the pound, it's a similar story. We've been in this pullback. We haven't had a swing break of structure. We are still within the swing range. So the swing range on the daily is still bullish. Okay. However, we've had an internal break. Okay. An internal break. And so now we have the internal is bearish. And then we have mitigated this daily demand. And we had a reaction. And we did mitigate the supply that resulted in this fractal structure break right here. Okay, and we had an imbalance which was filled, and then we did mitigate the extreme of the zone. And then since then price has been reacting, and now we are looking to be pushing back down. So we could be targeting these lows or possibly even this low of the zone. So let's look at the 4H and on the EUR/USD. So on the 4 hour, so this is what we have. So swing is bearish. That's our swing range at the moment. And then internally we are also bearish on the 4 hours. So this is our internal for our range. So we did push up, okay, switched bullish just to facilitate the pullback. Okay, so after break of structure we expect a pullback. So where the pullback came all the way to the extreme of the 4 hours range, 4 hour internal range, and then now price has been reacting bearishly. Okay, now whether that bearish move is going to be a continuation of the overall bearish movement in price, or is just for price to come down to these areas, which resulted in a break of internal structure right there. So whatever we are looking to do here, this will be if we're looking for shorts, that means we are going pro swing and pro internal, okay, or pro swing and counter internal, okay, in terms of the substructure that we are looking at. Okay, so if this is our main range that we're looking at the moment, because this is where current price is, this range is bearish, and then internal of this range is bullish. So what that means is we'll be pro swing. All right, it may be confusing because the internal is bearish. Okay, so for this range we may be looking at this this range from the internals high to the internals low as bearish. Okay, so that's what I'm calling the swing, okay, or the swing range. Okay, and then the internal of that internal is bullish at the moment. Okay, so that means we'll be pro swing, which is bearish, and then counter internal, which is bullish. So that is if we're looking for shorts. Okay, and then if we are going to be looking for longs, maybe when price comes down there, okay, then this will be counter swing. So if we're looking for longs, that will be counter swing and pro internal. Okay, that will be counter swing and pro internal. Okay, so those will be the two things that we could look to do. Okay, those will be the two ideas that we could be looking to go for. So what that means now is if I mark out my current, if I mark out my current demand on the 4-hour, okay, my current demand on the 4-hour, this is what we have. All right, this is what we have. So I'm gonna remove that. So price has already come up to the extreme. Okay, price has already come up to the extreme. All right, mitigated this 4-hour area. Mitigated this 4-hour area, and then we've had a reaction, and now we are reacting. So of course we do have an imbalance right here, so this imbalance will need to be filled. So the expectation will be price will continue maybe to mitigate these areas, and then we'll have a reaction upwards of some sort. Okay, so let's look at the 15-minute. Let's look at the 15-minute. So what I'm going to do, let me make this visible on current interval and below, same as this, current and below. So let's look at the 15-minute. This is what we have. Okay, so we do have this sort of decisional. Okay, that's the decisional. This area was eliminated, so that's no longer relevant for us today. This areas we were expecting that to be taken, and that was taken, and then price had a reaction. Unfortunately didn't take out these highs, but we had a reaction. Okay, and then this is our decisional, and then this is our extreme. At the extreme we can see that there is trend line, liquidity resting. So it is possible that if this fails and price decides to continue, it might just continue all the way, take this out. Okay, it is very much possible. On the other hand, price could, let's see, so if I have this high up there, I could be looking at this, or we could look at this as well. So we do have a level of trend line as well on the 15-minute. Okay, so this is what we have. Boom. Okay, so this is what we have. So we have a level of trend line in this area. Let's see. Okay, so this is our internal range. Okay, so if we're looking to buy right from any of these areas, this is going to be pro this internal range, which is bullish. Okay, current order flow is bearish. Okay, current order flow is bearish. So right here we had a sweep and price failed to make to break structure to the upside. Okay, so price failed to break structure to the upside, so this is a weak area, so we expect that to be run over. Okay, and that looks like that's going to happen. Well, that's happened. That looks like, yes, so that has happened. Okay, so I'm gonna mark that. Boom. So for now we haven't had a close, all right, but I'm just gonna mark it as a as an area of liquidity to be targeted, and that has been targeted, that has been taken. Okay, so now let's see if we can look at anything else. So looking at the Asia range, so this is within the Asia range, we can also see that we do have some kind of trend line as well. Okay, so you could mark it out like that as well. Okay, so all this is another area of liquidity that's resting. Okay, so it is possible that if price mitigates any of these areas, this one or this one, and then decides to push up, then these areas are likely to be eliminated. Okay, these areas are likely to be eliminated. So what I may be looking at would be maybe for price to come in and mitigate this area, and then we'll be looking for longs, possibly to target Asia high, okay, or even all of these highs up there. All right, so if we get lower time frame confirmations on the 5 minute, on the 1 minute, then be looking for longs like that. Okay, so if it doesn't reach down here, okay, and then if we start pushing up, then we'll probably have to wait and see if price comes back up, maybe it takes out any of these areas. Okay, it could still respect this Asia high because this is a sweep area that has also led to a break of structure. So the internal mechanics right now, they are bearish as well. Okay, so for an intraday or session type of move, right, we could see price come in into this area. Price come into this area because that has a little bit of a sweep, isn't it? Boom. So we had a sweep right there. Okay, so that could come into that area. Of course, that has been mitigated already, and then price could come in. So price could come in, maybe sweep these areas, and then have a reaction. Okay, if that happens, then we could have a reaction, try to target this demand area. Okay, and then if this mitigates and then we have a reaction, then we could then look for longs to target Asia high. Okay, or just simply go for a 3-to-1 reward to risk target. Okay, so those are my trade ideas for the Euro USD. Okay, and then let's look at the pound. Okay, so starting on the 4 hour. Starting on the 4 hour on the pound, let's see. So we know that our 4 hour range, okay, our 4 hour range, this is my 4 hour swing range, all right, which is bearish. However, when looking at current price, because this is what we need to make decisions for today, for our trading today. So this will be the range that we are focusing on. So within this range, price has come to the extreme, mitigated the extreme, it's having a strong reaction, and this is the demand, which led to a break of structure on the internally, okay, internally within this range, and this is bullish and the swing is bearish. Okay, so the swing of this leg is bearish and the internal within this leg is bullish. All right, so it's still kind of the same story as on the Euro USD. Okay, so I'm just going to mark out those areas. So that'll be 4 hour, and then make a current interval and below, and same as this one, just mark out all of that. Boom. Okay, and then current and below. All right, so this is no longer relevant. Okay, so we've mitigated the extreme and now we are having a reaction. So looking at the 15 minute, okay, so looking at the 15 minute, this is what we have. So on the 15 minute, this becomes our that becomes the high, Boom. So this is our 15 minutes of this 15-minute swing range. This is what we use to determine our intraday trading decisions. Okay, so currently it's bullish. So this was the last internal high, internal low, internal high within this 15-minute area. Okay. Okay, so I do have these weak areas nested. So we have this structural low, Asia low, a London low, another London low, or another structural low right there. Okay, so I can anticipate that price so here we have another London low, which is another draw on liquidity. Okay, so price could come down. So already I can see that I have this pool of liquidity down here, right? All of this pool of liquidity down here because of those lows. So expectation is that price will continue bearish. Okay, I'm expecting this to fail. I'm expecting that to fail. However, we also have trend line. Okay, we do have this trend line up here. And then we do have, this is the extreme of the zone on the 15 minute. Boom. Okay, so that could be an area of interest. Okay, so we have that one, and then we have this extreme for the pullback. Okay, so this is what we're looking at. So there's an area that swept and then pushed up. Okay, so right now it's gonna be looking at what price did. All right, so right there. Okay, so price, we had a sweep of these lows, all right, relative equal lows, and then price went on to make a higher high, broke structure. Okay, broke structure, went on to make this high within this range. Okay, so this was facilitating the pullback. So the pullback is now complete, right? So if the swing trend is going to continue, then we expect all of these areas to fail. Okay, we expect all of these areas to fail. So that would be the expectation. That would be the expectation. So let's see. This is the extreme. That's the extreme zone. Okay, I'm just gonna do that. So I'm gonna expect price to come in and mitigate, and then we'll see how price reacts, because we do have all these liquidity points below. Okay, so for the pound, is there any areas here? So we have New York lows and these relative equal lows as well. Okay, so price could sweep these areas, come in, mitigate this area, and then decide to continue up. If it does that, then I may be looking for longs until maybe this Asia midpoint. Okay, until this Asia midpoint. All right, or if it switches now and then comes back up, then I could still be looking for shorts. All right, if price comes into this area, then looking for shorts towards this area here. Okay, so the clear logical thing is, or the simple targets will be going for a 3-hour trade. Okay, so if I can get a 3-hour and we're within this range, then that's all I need. And then if I can get a 3-hour, if price does give a reaction and lower time frame confirmations, then yeah, we'll look for 3-hour. That's all we need. Okay, and then we don't have to know where price will go for the rest of the day. So those are my trade ideas for today for both the Euro USD and the pound. So if you find value in this material, please don't forget to like, to subscribe, and to leave a comment, and let me know how you are using this in your own trading. Other than that, have a great day, and Working Trader out.